Hello everybody. So in today's video, I want to briefly discuss three main reasons why I believe Enphase will have an easier time scaling up its operations, scaling its revenue compared to much of the competition and much of the fully integrated, for example, makers of solar panel. This video was largely inspired by my Canadian solar video, where I started noticing a few things as to why I believe Enphase will grow much faster. I think there is an important scaling catalyst to be said for Enphase and for most manufacturers of solar equipment that do not sell solar panels. Selling solar panels is, I think, an impediment, a hurdle to growth. It will slow down your growth because of a little something called volume density. Volume density pretty much prevents you from being an hyper-growth company because of the price that you charge compared to the volume that it takes for you to ship whatever you're making, in this case, solar panels. Theoretically, in the same volume, right? In the same volume, you can put 80 cartons of Enphase products at $2,500 a carton of 18 microinverters like this. You can put in the same space 80 times more product than you can with the solar panel product for a product that roughly sells for about the same price, right? $2,500 for 18 microinverters, $2,700 from solar panel. So in the same volume, you can decide to either ship $2,700 worth of stuff, on which you're going to have, by the way, a lower gross margin, or you can decide to ship almost $200,000 worth of stuff, on which you're going to have a much higher gross margin. I believe this volume density greatly helps Enphase. Enphase can ship microinverters across the world for a very inexpensive price. And when you have such high value density, remember this one carton is $2,500. When you have such high value density, you can also enter by market through airship, shipping by plane. This is something that is nearly impossible to do with solar panels, but that is fully possible to do with microinverters. And in fact, it made me think about Solar Edge. When Solar Edge had a lot of demand for its central inverters, it's about the same price for something of a similar form factor, except you just have one big inverter instead of 18 small inverters, you have a big one. Solar Edge used airship a lot. And this is also something Enphase can do as it enters new market. It allows them to scale much more quickly. The fact that these microinverters just have a wonderful volume density, where imagine how much money you can put in a container, right? It takes much more hard work, much more, quote unquote, hustling, much more hard work, essentially, to ship containers of solar panels compared to shipping containers of highly valuable, highly expensive microinverters relative to how much space they take. And I think this is one of the major scaling catalysts for Enphase. The fact that they focus on the more profitable, the more volume dense priced items. That's catalyst number one. Catalyst number two is also related to solar inverters. These solar inverters are very versatile. They are actually wonderful because of their versatility. And of course, if you're going to be a traditional string inverter person or a central inverter person, you may want to reuse the argument of the penalty when at night, if you want to use a battery, you have 3 times inversion instead of 1 time inversion. Salespeople will tell you it's a 10% efficiency loss. When you look under the hood, you realize it's actually a 6% difference and not a 10% difference. And that efficiency is well worth it because you gain a system that literally can't go down because you get a system that is redundant. So I think, to me, it's an easy sell to justify why microinverters are better than central inverters. I've made multiple videos about that. This video, I'm not going to have a tangent on this topic. But I want to talk about the great benefits of using microinverters in the product lineup. Remember, the inversion of electricity, DC to AC is a cornerstone of all of these battery systems, all of these charging systems, right? When you charge your electric car, you need to have AC DC system because, of course, your electric car, your battery is going to be DC current, right? Same for your battery on the wall. You're going to need to turn AC to DC. Right? If you take energy in from the grid and want to charge your battery from the grid, you're going to have to turn AC into DC. So the inversion of current happens throughout the home. And this is no different from when we use bricks for our cell phones and bricks for our computer to charge our computer. We're all in DC. This is no different. Well, this is where Enphase is absolutely wonderful, in my view, is the fact that they are putting these microinverters in all of their products. Keep in mind, these microinverters are getting 11 cents per AC watt, right? And so when you get to, say, a 480 watt microinverters, like I can recognize that microinverter if you follow Enphase, this is the 480 AP microinverter that they're planning to put in the bidirectional charger. So that microinverter is getting that 11 cents times 480. 11 cents times 480 times 6. So when I look at in 2025, when they introduce bidirectional EV charging, and they introduce this charger in 2025, this charger will have six microinverters at 480 watt each that get 11 cents per AC watt until 2033. So this is a subsidy-making machine. But this is also product versatility because these microinverters can be used everywhere, right? Those factories achieve enormous economies of scale, tremendous economies of scale, because not only do the microinverters go on the roof, they also go on your car chargers, your electric car chargers, and they go, of course, on your battery. This is the IQ10T battery, which is the latest battery of Enphase, right? So it looks like on the outside, just like the chargers looks like this on the outside. They have a product code, a really nice brand identity. But when you open the hood, guess what? When you open the hood of a new IQ battery that they're currently releasing, what do you see? 12 microinverters in the IQ battery. So you get a situation where you have 12 microinverters on the battery. Since, of course, in my view of electric cars, everybody's going to have an EV in the future. So that's another 6 microinverters, right? So you're already at 18. And then, for the sake of a simplicity, imagine you have 22 panels on your roof, which is, roughly the size of a decent install. Right? You're selling 40 microinverter per client. 40 microinverter per client. And more, of course, as the system scales. Because how many batteries does a big home need? Probably more than one 10T battery. How many chargers do you need? Most households have at least 2 cars. So you probably need 2 chargers, not just one, right? The standard is a 2-car garage. It only makes sense that you would have 2 chargers in a 2-car garage. And of course, when you scale up your batteries, when you scale up your chargers, you're going to add more panels on your roof. And Enphase is the only system that allows you to very easily add solar panels on your roof and be nimble, right? If you have a central inverter, you can't say, I'm going to grow the size of my system by 30%. No, all you can say if you have a central inverter is, I'm going to double it or triple it. You don't have to do this with Enphase. You can be very nimble. What I'm trying to say is that the Enphase ecosystem is going to be able to scale because the center of the ecosystem is the microinverter, this piece of technology that they have perfectioned. That's the center of the ecosystem. They're going to have tremendous scale because of this, and this will allow Enphase to actually scale its revenue and grow faster. That's point number 2, the product versatility. In fact, they put these just about everywhere. And think about how many subsidies they're going to get. It's going to be quite insane. I don't want to say, anyways, It's great for Enphase, not so much for the taxpayer, right? It's a miscalculated policy. It's a gift. It's a gift that really the U.S. government is giving to Enphase. This is a major gift. And in my view, in 2033, this will have come out as like one of the most costly policy you can ever imagine. Because of course, when I go over calculation and when I start thinking about 500, 600 AC watt microinverters, I realize that 80-90% of the fixed cost of making one of these is going to be covered by the IRA. So their product is essentially going to cost them nothing or next to nothing, which is where it's headed if you achieve scale, tremendous scale. We know they just opened in Texas. They just opened their third manufacturing facility in Texas. Enphase is moving forward, opening manufacturing facilities of microinverters everywhere they can in the US. They can't wait. They want to get that credit. So anyways, number 3, what is point number 3? Why are they going to be able to scale? Version number 3. Well, that is the installer network. So I've heard many interviews, many calls where Enphase says they have the largest installer network in the US. I haven't verified that from third parties, but I have no reason to not trust Enphase on this. I have myself been on a home and garden show, and I talked to 9 installers, and all 9 carried Enphase and recommended Enphase. Therefore, what that means is I think it's closer to the truth to say that most installers carry Enphase. They may carry Solar Edge too, but most of them, in my view, in the United States, carry Enphase, and Enphase is going heavily in Europe. In Europe, Solar Edge is a little bigger. But why would installers allow Enphase to scale? Well, this is an industry that has entered hypergrowth. This product is getting adopted. Solar panels are getting adopted. My view of the future is very clear. When I walk into my neighborhood, when I go on an after work walk or whatever, and I look at houses, 10 years from now, in my view, 80-90% of the roofs will have solar. I live in Texas. There's sun all the time. People will all have solar roofs. Australia is showing us the way. Australia is already at 30%. So if most homes have solar roofs 10 years from now, I believe installers are going to help them to scale. They need to go after that opportunity very, very fast. I look at installers a little bit like I look at fast food chain with franchisees. The franchisees have helped many fast food chains grow very, very, very fast, because one of the big advantages when you involve a third party into your business is that you get access to their capital. You get access to a lot of their local marketing, not national level marketing, but their local marketing. Like they're going to go to a home show locally. You get access to that marketing. And the installs are done by third-party employees. So you get tremendous flexibility if there is change from region to region. There's a lot of flexibility in hiring. This is entirely decentralized. You're not doing it. There's a lot of benefits to growing like this. One of them is a little overhead, a little complexity, having little overhead, having little complexity, and in my view, little risk, because you don't hire these installers. These installers of panels are hired by your installing companies, right? You get quicker growth and more focused attention. Now, of course, the downside of that is you get lower profits. But I want to be very clear. Even Tesla, the king of vertical integration, is going that route. They realized, oh wow, we can't scale fast enough a network of installers across the country, right? Tesla loves vertical integration where you can have gigafactories and do everything in the same spot. If you do everything in the same spot and sell all of your cars from a single server, a website, it's all done in the same spot. When you do everything in the same spot, vertical integration makes a lot of sense. Installing solar panel doesn't work like this. You need to have people physically present locally in many different jurisdictions, many different cities with many different codes, different nations with different standards. Construction work, and of course, installing solar panels is a new form of construction work, right? It's this strange mix between roofing and electricity. Construction is a hyper-local thing. And it would take a company like Enphase, in my view, forever to have its own network of installers. It would not be fast enough, right? If they made everything in a central point, then it would make sense. But for them, it doesn't make sense. That's why I think even Tesla is going that route. It's going with established contractors who have decided to get into solar They're already established. They already have their employees. They already know electricity or roofing, or they know one side or another side of a business, or they get into a partnership. These contractors know their local laws, their local city, their local code, and they are partnering with Enphase. Yes, it leads to a little bit of lower profits as if you were entirely vertically integrated and own the whole value chain. But I do believe the decentralized nature of having to install solar in like every single city in America, that decentralized nature makes it so that if you were to grow your wholly owned installer, if you had to have your wholly owned company that does installs, it would take forever to scale, for the very reason that you are operating in the world of brick and mortars that are very, very far from each other. It's not like a giant factory, right? You can't just ask people to, move their home to the factory, drop their home off over the weekend, and pick the home back up on a Monday, and the factory put the solar panels on the roof of that home, right? It doesn't work like that. It has to be this tough, complicated work. That's the challenge that you are trying to overcome. And I think by having this installer network, they are getting, like I said, the capital, the marketing, the motivation, the attention of small business owners who are very, very motivated to do very well for themselves and work on these installs. And that's what Enphase is doing. Enphase is doing everything it can to ease the sell by its installers and help them do a better job. So these were the three catalysts: the installers, the fact that the product is versatile and goes in everything that has to do with the ecosystem, and the volume density, the form factor. These are three reasons why I think Enphase will scale. I think they will scale faster than a whole lot of other solar panel installers, including those, especially those that make solar panels themselves. Anyways, this was it for this video. This was not investment advice, just entertainment. I hope you were entertained. I appreciate your likes. I appreciate your subscriptions to my channel. I appreciate if you follow me on X. Thank you so much for watching, and have a wonderful, wonderful day.